Your students text all the time, communicating with each other. Slack is a free team texting app that you can use to increase student engagement. It's especially valuable for online teaching. This presentation covers two areas. First, getting set up with Slack. Second, teaching with Slack. I'll show you ways you can incorporate Slack into your courses. Here's how to get set up using Slack. Go out to slack.com and look for Create a New Team. Their website is always changing, so don't be distracted if you see a different photo. But wait, before you jump out to slack.com and start signing up, finish this presentation so you have a good overview of what you want to do. When you sign up for Slack, there'll be 4 bits of information that you'll need at your fingertips. First, the name that you want for your team. Second, your email address that you want to associate with your Slack account. Third, the domain name you want to use. And fourth, your username. I recommend using your first name and last name. It's a lot easier for others looking at when they're using Slack. Keep the domain name as simple as possible. For example, if you can, just use a course number or an abbreviation. Also, if you can, use the same name for the domain and the team name. Things will be much less confusing that way. So once you get your domain, here's what a brand new Slack domain will look like. In the URL or web address at the top of your browser, you'll see the actual domain name. In this screenshot, it is csc235, the name of the course, .slack.com. In the upper left-hand corner, you'll see the team name. In this example, it is Slack Demo. You will always start out with 2 channels, #general and #random. Everybody that joins Slack will have access to these channels. There is one member automatically included besides yourself, and that is Slackbot. This is a robot built into Slack, and from the number 1 in the red oval, you can see that Slackbot has left you a message. Make sure you click on the Slackbot to see the message. It is confirming your email address. The main part of the screen shows the beginning message stream for the general channel. And at the bottom, there's an input field where you will type in your messages that will display in the selected channel. In this case, that's #general. Slack is designed for teams, so let's invite some people. Click on the small down arrow next to the team name and select Invite People. A screen will display showing some options. Select Full Members. Then look for the link Invite Many People at Once. In the Enter Multiple Email Addresses box, you can paste in a list of email addresses. Now you can quickly get this list by sending a group email from your learning management system to all the students and simply copy and paste the contents of the Send To field. Separate each email name with a comma, or just make sure each one is on a new line. A list of all the email addresses will display along with the fields for the first and last name. Slack does its best to figure out first and last names. Edit these appropriately. These are the human names that Slack will display. Slack will automatically send each person on the list an email with an invitation that looks something similar to this. Notice each person will be shown the domain name as well as the particular email address that you used for the invitation. At the end of this presentation, I'll show you how to resend invitations. You can set up subgroups or teams called channels on Slack. Just click on the plus sign next to channels. You can make the team public or private. Public channels allow anyone to join. Private channels are restricted to whoever you invite. In this example, all the students in several classes are part of the VB team. Inside the team, 4 channels were established, one for each course: Programming Fundamentals, the IT Academy, Visual Basic, and Web Services. Later in this presentation, I'll show you different ways domains and teams can be organized. When you are looking at Slack, the team name will display in the upper left. In this example, the team name is Web Dev, short for Web Development. Right next to it, you'll see the channel name that is currently active. Here you can see that I've clicked on the General, and so #General shows at the top of the main panel. Down the left-hand side, you'll find a list of all the channels as well as a list of users. Channels are marked with a box for archived. In this example, that's Asana. A lock for private. Team Grace Hopper and Team James Clark are both set as private. And a # for public teams. So anybody could go into Team Robert Metcalf, Team Tim Berners-Lee, or Team Vincent Cerf. You can easily change a channel's properties by selecting the channel and clicking on the small down arrow next to the channel name. If you click on Advanced Options, you can convert a public channel to be private. You can't go back the other way though, so make sure that that's what you want. You can also rename the channel, although be careful, it might confuse everyone. Do it before you invite people to join Slack. You can also set the channel topic. In this example, you can see the text Programming Fundamentals Class Communications is right next to the channel name along the top of the page. You can also get information about the channel. This is especially helpful if you want to see a list of who is in the channel. Select the channel that you are interested in and click on the small eye in a circle in the upper right-hand area of Slack. This is just to the left of the search field. You can view more details by clicking on the small triangles next to each topic. When you are finished, click on the X in the upper right-hand corner of the panel, and Slack will give you back your screen real estate. There are 3 levels of communication in Slack: everyone, the team, and individuals. To text a message to everyone, just click on the #General channel on the left. Type in your message in the input box at the bottom of the page. To message a team or a group, select the appropriate channel and type in the message. Or to message just one person, click on the direct message heading, begin typing the person's name, select the name from the drop-down list and click Go. Slack is a great teaching tool, especially for online teaching and learning. It can be used to encourage students to communicate with you, their instructor, as well as working together in teams. Here are a few tips you can use to incorporate Slack into your classes. Domains and channels. Think of a domain as a website or a Facebook page. A channel is a subgroup of people within the domain, a team or a group with a common purpose. So here are some options. You can set up a domain for each of your courses. If you have team projects or any type of group conversations in your course activities, you can set up a channel for each team. Slack allows you to have multiple domains. More about that in a minute. However, if you want to send the same message to all your students, say a class cancellation, you will have to switch from one domain to the next. A different option is to put your students under a single domain. Then inside that domain, set up channels for each individual course. This was done in the earlier example. In that case, when you have a message for everyone, all you have to do is post it in the general channel. If you have a range of students, having all of them in one domain allows the most experienced students to communicate and mentor the newer students. Slack allows you to have multiple domains. In this view, on the desktop version, if you have multiple domains, Slack will display them along the left side along with the hotkeys to access each domain. Here you can see there are 3 different domains: V for VB, W for WebDev, and CS for Concordia Joel. As each one is selected, the team name displays along with the channels for that domain. You can quickly change domains on the mobile app by swiping from left to right and then selecting Switch Teams at the bottom of the list. Just as a side note, if you swipe right to left, you'll discover the list of channels and the users for the active domain. As people respond to your invitations to join the domain, they will automatically be included in the #general and the #random channels. If a custom channel is public, anyone in the domain can add themselves to the channel. If a channel is set to private, you will have to add individuals to that channel. You can name channels anything you like, so Team 1, Team 2, Team 3, etc. is fine for Slack. But you can make things more interesting for you and your students if you give meaningful names to each team channel. For example, in my web development class, I named the channels after people who were instrumental in building the internet and the web: Grace Hopper, James Clark, Robert Metcalf, Vincent Cerf, and Tim Berners-Lee, who actually invented the web. When the students were first designing their group projects at the beginning of the course, they had to look up their team namesake and write a paragraph describing what that person did to make the web possible. Later, at the end of the course, during their final presentations, each team had to tell the other students a little bit about their team namesake. I found that when students are working in their team channels, they get derailed if I interpose. Instead, I've learned just to watch. If a student poses a question, I let the other students on the team come up with an answer. Even if the first solution is totally wrong, I still wait to see if another student will propose a different and hopefully correct alternative. Finally, if no correct solution is offered, I'll go in and make a suggestion or guide them on how they can find a better solution. But if you add your input too soon, it will often simply derail a conversation. Everyone suddenly goes silent. The random channel is a great way to add a little extra interest to the course. Use it to post fun videos, quizzes, like the one shown, or grammar tests. Everyone can see the content in the random channel. The Slack team added it because they know that some of the most creative ideas come out of random thoughts and input. Need to nudge some students to join? You can either use your domain adding .slack.com/admin/invites#pending as shown in the green screenshot, or you can do these 5 steps. First, click on the small down arrow next to the domain name. Then select Invite People. Look for the link near the bottom of the page. Currently, it's worded See Pending and Accepted Invites for your team. Click on the Pendings Invitations tab, then select a name and either revoke the invitation or click on Resend Invitation. Slack is a great tool for direct communication, team texting. However, if you have group projects, check out asana.com. This is a free collaborative task list manager. It allows teams to track what needs to be done, who has agreed to do it, and when. Asana works very well with Slack. Notice in this example how I use the same team names for both Slack and Asana. Each team uses Slack to talk about what needs to be done and for brainstorming. Then they go into Asana and list who will do what and when. As an instructor, everything is self-documented, from the initial conversations that happen out on Slack to task completion out on Asana. It makes grading group projects accurate and fair. These are the basics showing what you need to know to set up and use Slack in your courses. Hopefully you will find the results as encouraging and interactive as I have.